Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, perfect. We got sound. We should be streaming live now. And we got market open here soon, so we'll be right there. Y'all bear with me for 1 second here. Let's see here. That's not right. Let a few people jump on here and we'll get this thing kicked off. All right, get a little bit of music going here. Can everybody hear me okay? I want to make sure that the music isn't overpowering myself. Good morning, Brim. Good morning, Jeremy and Dan and Cody. Yeah, London had an amazing push, and I'm not happy that I missed that because we just had if you look at these dots again, it was just an amazing setup. You had, we do our dot connect here on the dot to dot, and then we'll also do the dot on the dot here, and then on the candle body right there. So when we go on the dot and then on the same candle, the dot's body, we came up and we never broke. We just kind of, gave it a swing high in this area, came back down. Yesterday we pushed back up, traded in here. It was sitting flat. You've got a nice wick fill zone right there. Never broke it, never broke trend, and then just rejected and fell a total of 714 pips, which would have been just an amazing trade. Unfortunately, I was asleep and didn't catch any of this. I'd have loved to have caught it. Now the plus side is I'm in this sell. I've closed partials, so kind of show you guys what we got here. This is, I'll just look at the last month here so you guys kind of see what's going on. So here's the last month of trades that we've had. So, I've not taken a ton of trades. I've been able to hold positions. Some hit TP, some actually got knocked out. The biggest trade I had, obviously, is a sell in US 30 right here. And I've closed partials of it. So I've got my point, what's my left? 0.10, 0.15, yeah, running left. So, started this account with 100K at the beginning of the year, currently setting at 245,000, runner 0.15. So here's kind of how I'm playing this out, guys. I'm looking for a 30-minute candle break, and I know I'll zoom in on this. I'm looking for a 30-minute candle break above this zone, back up to this trend line to close out the trade I'm currently in. I would like to get into buys because you guys know me. I love playing within my range. So I'm at a 0.15, which means I'm going to trade at a 0.10. That way, if I were to get to a bad trade and it were to go up, I could close out partials of this one to make up for the bad trade. So I'm going to go here, look at the 5 minute. So you kind of see where the 5 minutes at. Zoom out on it. Look at that bounce that we had perfect on that trend line. Boom, never broke and just slammed down. And here's what's really cool. If you're trading that 5 minute, again, you trade the dot to dots. Look at that dot to dot break. I mean, you cannot ask for a better dot to dot break right there. And your stop loss on this trade, no matter where you took your sells in here, your stop loss on that trade would have been 10 pips above that. So you're talking about a 31 pip trade. 31 pip trade for what you just got. So if you're risking $1,000, you could have went in roughly at about $32 per pip. So you'd be running almost 22K right now. It's the reason I like the dots, guys. Like, that's the reason I like the dots. $1,000 risk up here just made you 22K. That's some good numbers. I don't know what you guys think about that. So put that in perspective, a $100 risk up here would have made you $2,200. Now, if you're wanting to take a trade and use it as a stop loss down here in this wick fill, you'd be taking a buy right now instead of waiting on the break, and you would just run your stop loss down here. Because no matter if we take the buy up here or we take the buy here, our stop loss is still going to be below this. So problem is, are we going to break out of this zone and start heading upwards to get into it? So we're going to keep our eyes on it and see what happens. Actually, what I'm going to do, because we're going to look at the gold markup, and every time I look at a gold markup for another pair, something always happens. So I'm going to basically put it about, it's 42 pips up, put it about right there, and just see if we get that push up while I go to gold. So with gold, if you guys were looking at my gold analysis, gold was just freaking amazing. As you all know, we had that gap down here that we needed to close. So we got a swing high, okay, which gave us our dot-to-dot break right here, our break zone. So all we do, remember, when we get a swing high, we go dot to dot. So whether it's a line like this or whether it's our fib fan, you're just connecting it. It went down. This was a wick fill. I mean, guys, this is textbook. So you should all be taking notes on this trade because this is textbook on exactly how the dot system works. So you got a dot here. Actually, let me just start out from fresh so you guys can see what you'd be doing here. All right, so we're going to pretend none of this has happened over here, meaning everything from here up has not happened. We knew that we had the gap fill down here. So we were looking for sell opportunities to fill this gap. So not only did we have a gap fill right in this area, like this, just somewhere through here, we had a wick fill, okay? So we're gonna remove this. None of that's happened. So all we're gonna do, we're looking for buys because we know we've got a wick, we know we got a gap fill down here that we need to hit to go back up. So we see we got a swing low. That swing low, boom. When we get the swing low, we now have a dot up here. So you can either do a dot to dot like this, or you can do the fib fan. If you're doing the fib fan, you're going to connect the break zone on this dot because we need to know where to break. All right, we see it come down. We're playing the gap. It hits the gap, closes it, gives us a swing low right on that. And look, this is how long you've got to analyze these trades. People think that things happen really quick. You had 28 plus hours to analyze this trade, okay? So at 28 hours to analyze this trade, if you're not paying attention to this, you've got plenty of time, guys. So no excuses. But you're paying attention to this. You've got your wick fill, swing low, confluence 1, 2, and then we got a dot to dot to break. So if you want to take this trade on the break itself, your stop loss is 10 pips below this last wick zone. Okay? So there's your stop loss for that trade. If you're taking your trade on this wick fill zone still without a breaking trend, your stop loss now is anywhere in here 10 pips below this zone. So what looks better? A stop loss from here to here or a stop loss from here to here? This is where I say you just have to push the button. Because if you're waiting on this break, that's a much larger stop loss than what you have here. So you can run a larger lot size here than you can up here. So for this trade, you're taking buys in here, stop loss below, or buys on the break, stop loss below. And look, it broke, hit TP1, hit TP2, TP3. Now, when it hits TP3, it breaks. This is TP3 reversal. What's that mean? That means for it to reverse, we need to close whatever candle we're looking at. So if we're looking at 4 hours, then we need to close a 4-hour candle below this. If we're marking up on the 30-minute, it needs to be a 30-minute candle below this. And then once that happens, then we're taking the trades the opposite direction. Once it starts hitting TP1, you're protecting your entry here or here. When it hits TP2, you're protecting your entry here or here. When it hits TP3, you're still protecting your entries, okay? So a lot of people want to protect at TP1, so we'll protect at TP2. No matter where these TPs are at, that's where you're protecting your entry. For me, I'm always a TP1 protect top guy. So at no point in time did you ever get close to being knocked out here or here based on where we're at, and you're currently running in a massive, massive trade. Now, I did not take this trade, and reason being was I'd made a lick off of this massive sell right here, and I was focused on US 30. Didn't even look at gold. And then once I looked at gold, and right when I looked at gold, it was during this big push up, and I ended up missing that trade. So that's on me for not keeping tabs on it. I wish I would have, because this would have been a solid trade. It would have been, the last big gold trade I had was $148,000, and this probably would have been bigger than that trade because we had a much larger push, and I would have used about the same lot size on that. Let me look at the questions here to make sure I'm not missing anything. Your mic volume could be louder. Unfortunately, this is the best mic I got right now. Dan, you have to turn your head up, turn your headphones up, or get a new pair that just blows your ears out. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. How would you suggest choosing between a dot-to-dot trendline break versus a swing high, swing low structure? Because stop loss is always bigger when doing. Well, yeah, I mean when you're doing a dot-to-dot, you're always going to have a larger stop loss. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Your always best bets are going to be these wick fills. The problem is when you're taking a wick fill, the risk of losing I shouldn't say the risk, the probability of you losing that trade is actually greater because these swing lows can repaint as they get lower. But you're using such a larger, you're using such a smaller risk here that it makes up for it when you finally hit it. So, a prime example would be if, let's say you repainted here and then it repainted another one and another one, you would lose this trade at say, 80, 90 pips. And then you'd lose another trade, 80, 90 pips. As you're trying to catch that swing low, you may lose, 3 to 4 swing low or swing high setups trying to take that. But then when it finally hits, it hits big. So that's why I like to wait for a swing low to hit in a wick fill zone that's been prior. And that's kind of what we have going on with US 30. So if we look at US 30, this right here, this wick fill, this was a swing low that gave us this whole area. So the risk of this trade, if I want to take this and go down like this and then 10 pips below that, that'd be 31, 37. So you're setting at about, let's see, I can't, 31459, so that would need to be 49. Yeah, let's go right there. So right there's my stop loss on that trade, just playing that zone. So you're talking about a 280 pip stop loss, and that's a 30-minute too. So you can kind of see that I'm just going below, this wick fill zone, 10 pips, which is exactly below this one too. So they all kind of line up. Let's see. That's funny, Dan. I love it. So that's kind of where I'm looking at US 30 going on like 5 minutes so you guys can see. It did put me in that trade on that wick. So the way that I would play this one is, I like this zone right there. Still got this trend line from that dot to dot that I'd love for it to go back up and test. So let's just see what I'm risking here for that trade. So I'm risking $2,800. So we'd pull this up. And basically that puts me right at that trend line right there. So I'm going to go to the base of those wicks and candles right there. Yeah, go back to gold. So this is the type of setup you want to see. If you go out like this, there's really not much you can get on it for looking for reversals. If you want to do something like this, we'll take this away and we'll see what we can get on it. Because obviously we've already missed that move. So let's see if we can find a good spot for the next move. So yeah, I like that one. Okay, so this is going to be a solid trade when it breaks. See how we got a dot up here on the connecting dot, and then we have a dot on our break zone. We have a dot on our TP1 zone. So we have a dot here, a dot here, a dot here, a dot here, and we bounced here. So this is going to be a good setup for gold. Really good setup. It is going to be on the higher time frame though. So whenever price breaks right here, this is the break zone. You can see it's labeled. Let me take this off the screen so you guys can see. It's labeled break zone right here. That's TP1. And we'll run TP1 to down here and protect the entry. And then if we can get a break, we'll hit our TP2 right here. As it breaks here, our stop loss is going to be 10 pips above this last swing high. So we'll put it about right there. So break right here, stop loss would be 1931.62. Where do you get the fib fan? So the fib fan is located in your chart. So if you go insert, objects, Fibonacci, it'll be called the Fibonacci retracement fan. For you guys that want to know the settings that I use for that, I'll throw these levels out. I'll also write them in the chat here. We've got 0.382 for break zone. We've got 0.5 TP1. We got 0.618 TP2. And then we have 0.68 for TP3 or reversal. All right, let's go look at where we're at. Drop the thing to 5 minutes. All right, we're pushing up. Now that I'm watching US 30, I'm going to go and cancel the TP because I'm going to watch it now. So Andy, why would you take this buy while holding the sell? Well, because we're streaming live, and there may be people that didn't get lucky enough to get into a sell, back here last week. So if I'm just sitting here watching my account make money, but people are wanting me to take trades, then I've got to get a trade set up. So I figured I'd take trades. That way we can all have some fun. Yes, taking this on the rejection right here would have been great. We'd already been in profit about 215 pips, but went with outside the box. Am I right in saying that 30-minute candle closure for trendline breaks is stronger, better than 5-minute? Yes. Well, not necessarily too that it's stronger. It cuts out a lot of the noise. So if you're watching this right here and you get on this 5-minute break, you got in that trade here and you ran it up 43 pips and then you got knocked out as soon as price came back down here. If we look at this on the 30, same thing would happen there. And then as you go up in higher time frames and you look at your trade setups, you're like, 4-hour candle never closed. I never got into that position. You look at the 1 hour, 1 hour candle did close. I would have gotten in that position. So the higher you go, it cuts out a lot of the noise for you to even get into that trade. But good question, Jon Snow. Any other questions, guys? And ladies, you're very welcome. Uh, 52 watching, only 9 likes. Hey, there's not been a lot of streaming on Carbon's page, so it's gonna take it a bit, Jason. You know what, Mr. Bell? I've not looked at the weekly here. Let's look at another chart to where I don't have anything marked up on it and see what we got. Because I need to do a. Look at that break. That was our first sell that we had right there. A long time ago on the big account. We took a sell right there on that wick fill. Look at that. We took a sell on this trend line break below this zone. And our stop loss was our last swing high. So, I mean, it was a big stop loss. You're talking 895 pip stop loss. But stop loss never got hit. And that's a massive trade. We closed out, though, right in this area on that trade. So, I mean, it turned out to be almost a 1,300 pip trade. That's when I was traveling, if you guys remember that trade. Let's see what we got here. So let's look at the weekly. So there was our reversal. So since we're looking for setups within here, you can see that we got a dot to dot weekly reversal. And you can see came up, tap, gave us a wick. So we know that this is going to be a valid setup. So we need the weekly to get back on here to even push back up into this range. Up here like this. Weekly level. I'd like to see, I mean, our support for weekly level is going to be right here, and it gave us a wick on the bottom of it. So we did reject that. So if that's what you're talking about, good eye. As far as daily is concerned, so this is daily. Yeah, I mean, man. So if there's our daily wick that we've been eyeing, and it's not closed a daily candle below that zone yet. If we close a daily candle below this zone, if you guys go back and watch any of my Instagram videos on my page, you'll notice I talked about a daily candle break below this zone would lead to a really nice fallout. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Answer some questions here. So we got, can you go over your trade setup for the sell last week? What's the overall bias for US 30? So Mr. Washington, I mean, for me, biased right now would be a nice push back up into this area through here. If we close a daily candle below, then I'm going to be bearish for sure. But I need a daily candle to close below this gray box to push me further bearish. I still would love to see a push back up into this area through here. So biased right now is going to be dependent on these daily candles. Can you go over how you take additional entries and how you determine the lot sizes? Yes, Grant, that's a simple one. Whatever size of entry you have, if you're stacking, you use half that size. So, example, let's say that I'm taking a sell right here. And I'll just do for number's sake, I'll go ahead and just do this. So let's say I take a sell at a 0.20 right there. Then that means my next sell, if I'm going to stack a position down here, that one would need to be a sell 0.10. And then when I stack my next entry right here, that would be a sell at a 0.05. And the reason I do this is because if you're taking these sells and you're going in half the lot size, that means if it retraces back up half to your original position, you can close this position and close half of this position, and it makes up for this losing trade. The big thing that I'm always probably the number one thing I'm big on is protecting your capital. So if you can take a position and you take another position at half, and it's just a bad trade or it decides to reject on you, you're still able to preserve your capital because you're closing out half your equity up here, and then you're closing out the bad trade. So that's going to be the best way to stack. Hey Andy, let's see, struggled last week when the dots kept repainting. So when the dots are repainting, you're looking for the opposite direction. If you're trying to catch the fall by taking the reversal, it's always going to mess you up. You've got to have structure whenever you're taking reversals. You know, like even through here, as this is falling, there'll be people that will be like, buy, it has to reverse, buy, it has to reverse, buy, and then margin call. How you want to attack this is you still have to have structure. Even when you're taking a reversal, there needs to be structure. So for me, on my reversal, I'm just looking at this 30-minute. I've got this box down here. This is a wick fill area, and that's the only reason for me I take this trade. It's a small stop loss, but I'm taking this trade at half the position, less than half. Well, it's not half the position, but it's really less because I've got a ton of room in between these trades. So if it hits stop loss, I'm going to lose $2,200 bucks. But if it hits stop loss, I'm going to make that up on this trade pushing back down. So show you guys some cool math here. This trade right here, I'm risking $2,800 for it. From here to here is going to be a 282 pip drop. I'm trading at $15 a pip. So while I'm risking $2,800 for this trade, I'm going to make $4,200 on this running trade from here to here. So for me, I cannot lose this setup. If price breaks and goes up, I'm putting money in the bank. I'm losing a little bit of this money, but I'm holding a nice position with putting money in the bank. If it hits my stop loss, I made $44,200 and some odd dollars from here to here, which means I'll close out $3,000 of profit to make up for my bad trade. And it's like that trade never happened. That's why I preach so much. Always keep your runners. Always. If you're not keeping runners, you're missing out. I hate using the word secret sauce because I don't feel like there's no such thing. I feel like it's just a craft that you learn. But I feel like that if you leave it running, you can take these trades like this, and if it pushes down, you're just eating up the profit you would have made anyway to make up for that bad trade. And you can play within your range. Like right now, I've got a range from here to price. So I'm currently setting at 1,718 pips on a runner. That's a lot of room for me to play in. All right, let's see here. Do you believe they will go back on the interest rate hike? Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, I don't think they're going to do an interest rate hike after bailing the bank out. They've said that they wouldn't do that. But yeah, we're still have interest rates go up, in my opinion. Yes, this video will be loaded on the channel. So as soon as it's over, you'll be able to go back and watch it. All good questions, guys. All good questions. And I'm going to run the stream until about 10 o'clock, 10:15. I try not to go too crazy with these streams, but some very good information here, guys, as far as, the trade setups and what you can look for. Because again, even if you were up, which I wasn't up, during this time to catch this move, but if you were trading, I mean, look at this. You got a swing high. That gives you your zone. You got a dot to dot. Price goes up, taps it, gives you a dot. You can click sell right here, or you can click sell here. Here's what's crazy when you think about this. When you saw the swing high, if you took a sell anywhere through here, that stop loss again was anywhere from 31 to 37 pips, which is huge, guys, huge. I mean, let's say you're trading a funded account, and you're going, and when I say that, I know we have a lot of people that do that. Remember, you trade that funded account, take those winnings, put them in Carbon Capital, okay? And that way you're building your own trading account over here. That's something I've been real big on. So for everyone listening, that's Andy. I always get asked, Andy, what do you recommend? And I'll say, if you're trading a funded account, as you start making your profits and you're pulling that out, build your own funded account on Carbon Capital. Like, why wouldn't you? Now you can take that money, put it into where you have your own conditions, where you have your own set of rules, and it's your money. You don't have to wait for a withdrawal to hit. You can pull your money out at any given moment. So let's say you were going with a $5,000 max loss, max risk, because a lot of people do that. They do that all the time. I see it everywhere on social media. Then that means you could have traded at $161 a pip on that trade, which would have netted you $117,000. Very, very, very small risk up here. What determines your lot size for your runners? I just closed partials along the way. So if you look at my trade history, you'll see, go to 30 minute, you're gonna see where I took the trade up here. And when I saw this dot get painted and price coming back up, I was like, I'm only gonna take a partial. I did, it never broke. Price came back down, broke the lower dot, I took another partial, and then now I'm just holding the trade. And for me, I just look at candle structure. And if the candle structure is there, I just chip away at it. I always want to leave something on the table though. Because I mean, imagine, had I closed this trade out altogether, I would have missed out on almost $28,000 of profit that I currently have right now. So I like to keep those runners. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have more of a downside. Again, the way that you want to trade, and this is my opinion, is you want to keep in mind that everything you do is based on levels. Okay, don't sit here and say, well, man, if we, I guess because of interest rate hikes and things that are going to go on, we're gonna, man, we might as well just go ahead and plan on a fallout to about $29,000. The market changes every day. Structure can change every day. So pay attention to what's taking shape on the charts here and not get too carried away in, like I said, on the daily, when we look at that daily, we need a daily candle to close below this zone right here. And it's doing a good job at pushing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to do it. And what I mean by that is, let's look at the wicks. Come on, guys. I keep hitting the wrong button. I'm getting trigger finger happy. So when we look at this wick right here, I mean, we've already pushed below it. This is the zone I had marked up. This candle would have to close, daily candle below this gray box to push any further. Now, I mean, obviously the bottom could fall out right now if it wanted to, but you always want to have that analysis as to why you're doing something, not just because you think the news is bad. Because you got to understand, when we had this big push up over here, there wasn't really any good news. Everything was bad every single day. Ukraine this, economy this, interest rates heights this, we're looking bad for next year, and it just kept climbing up. And then as price is going down here and price is going down here, there wasn't any news. Everything was just staying the same, but the market was still going down. So we got to keep that in mind. All right. But good question, Roy. Austin, what TP target price buys? So, I mean, I'm just watching at this point. I would love to see it get back up to this trend line, which would be amazing. But if I get a nice candle structure, meaning let's say we get a candle that pushes up, and does something like this, and then I get another candle that opens up and goes up here, then right here at this level, in between here is where I would protect this entry. If we break, do you think we will continue to close at least 50% of the next weekly candle? Good question. Let's look at it. So here's our candle right here. If you guys want to know how I measure candles, I just go to the Fibonacci, use the retracement, and then I find the candle itself and then just measure it out. So we know that 50% on this candle is going to hit at about right there. And gotta move it just a bit. 15,750 is what I need to be. So yeah, so if we close a daily candle below this zone, that would be an amazing trade setup. But again, you're looking at it on the weekly, so we would need the weekly candle to close really below this zone to then start looking at weekly levels. But there would be 30, I'd say for argument's sake, we would just use 30,500. If that's what you're looking for, Brett. B 305. So yeah, something like that. Because if we're looking at the daily, you'd want to look at kind of, this level through here first. So 31,000 flat. So if we get a daily candle closure below that, then we would just look at 30,000 flat. Sorry, not 30,000 flat, 31,000. Like that. With the market changing so much, how far you think we should go? Relevant historical data. So rule of thumb for me. So like, let's say I'm on the daily and I'm looking at the daily really zoomed in. You can do 3 clicks to really find zones. Really, I mean, 2 clicks is going to give you enough structure to see. You know, I see a lot of people that'll go back and mark this up. And yes, historical data will typically hit on these points. I mean, you can see where I marked out 30,500. You can see where that's exactly where we bounced. You know, 31,000, you're going to find areas where we bounced. But again, you can zoom all the way in on a chart and just go 1, 2. That's going to be a nice little place for you to mark up. If you go 3, that's about the farthest I would go. Let's see. That 30-minute candle wick, would that change your current buy bias? No, I mean, not at all. I mean, that's why I got a stop loss here. If it hits my stop loss, then that means that this trade setup right here for pushing outside the zone, because we closed a 5-minute candle outside the box, it means it was an invalid trade. When using Carbon's VPS, does that mean you can set up the trade on MT5 with the EA, then close MT5, and if the criteria, yes. So you leave the MT5 running on the VPS, but you can use the trade management tool. And I'm going to really start utilizing probably the trade management tool more, because I used it almost for a whole year and did great with it. But it was one of those things where we were traveling so much. I was hosting live sessions, and again, if I'm hosting a live sessions, I don't like using an EA, because then, you know, I'm not on here actually talking or doing anything. People are just staring at a chart. But yeah, I would like to start using it a little bit more so I can show people how to use it. Can you show your gold markup again? I was right. Yeah, most of it, Jacqueline. So it'll be the gold markup, just for what I'm looking at for the sells, is using the dot here and hitting my break zone on a top swing high. TP1 should bounce right there, and then looking for a break down below. And this is recorded, so as soon as we close it, you'll be able to go back and watch it. It will be on Carbon's channel. So while we're sitting here, if you guys can like the video, be sure to turn on your notifications on Carbon Capital and subscribe. That'd be amazing. Thank you, Jon Snow 1232. I appreciate that. And you do the same. I missed a question here, but how's Hannah's trading going? Going pretty good. We set up her station and got all of her accounts and stuff set up. She took a few trades on my phone and did really well. As far as the streaming aspect of it, that's what makes her nervous. So she just has to, get over the, she's like, well, what happens if I take a trade and I lose? I was like, then you take a trade and you lose, babe. You're gonna lose trades. She's like, well, I don't want people to see me do that. Like, I'll be nervous. That's nerve wracking. I'm like, babe, it's part of it. It's like me. If I'm trading live and I lose a trade, that means I lost a trade. I'm human. I'm not going to win every trade. If someone says that they win every single trade that they take, then chances are they're not trading live, because losses are going to happen. There's no way around that. That's part of trading. If a person could win every single trade that they take, then it means they need to be trading live every single day. So every single person could be taking advantage of them winning. I would do it. If there was a trader out there that was trading and they told me that they won every single trade, or they had a win rate of like for every, 100 trades, they only lose, maybe say 5, then yeah, sign me up for it. I want to be part of whatever they're doing and take their trades, because that's part of it. And that's something that, Hannah's she was very athletic growing up. She was a gymnast. So, she's very hard on herself on always being the best. And I was like, that's the thing you've got to drop. When you trade, you've got to understand you're not the best. The best trader in the industry is the chart, because the chart always is going to win. You're just riding shotgun with it. That's it. How often are you trading live on this channel? The goal is to get on this channel and trade live at least, once a week. At least once a week. Because I also trade live on my YouTube channel as well. So that way I've got, once a week on Carbon, maybe once a week on mine. And then outside of that, I throw stuff up on Instagram and places. Austin, you're very welcome, man. And Jacqueline, you're welcome. Yeah, Roy. So she took her first real account trade, which was actually, we were sitting at Drake's. It's a restaurant over by Hamilton Place, and she took the trade and did really well. She made like $750 in a matter of, I think it was 3 or 4 minutes. She went at $10 a pip. She looked like she had buy structure. She was like, the candles have just been bouncing around at the bottom, so it needs to push back up. She clicked buy, and when she saw $750, she closed out really quick. So, and that's what I told her. I was like, you've got to be cautious of wanting to close out so quick, because a true trader isn't going to be quick on this finger to just snap, close the trade. And that's, people are like, but Andy, you hold these trades forever. What makes you hold those trades? My background is stock market trading, so I'm used to buying an asset and having to wait for it to perform. So that's another thing that you guys can watch traders. If you're watching someone trade live and they're real nervous, or they're like, should I close this? Oh, I need to leave it open. I don't think I'm gonna close it. And then they pull it and they're like, I don't know if I'm gonna close. Oh my God, should I close it? What's it doing? And you see them freaking out about it. Then it means they're trading with emotions. Trading, obviously you guys see me get emotional when I hit a TP, because I just love my TPs to be right. I get excited about my TPs, not about the dollar amount or the trade at stake. Trading and entering a trade and talking about trade should be very emotionless. Like, there should be no emotions there. You should be emotionless with it. And that's one thing that she's going to have to learn, is how to be unemotional when she's taking those trades. Because if you get emotionally attached to it, or you sense nervousness, or you're like, I don't know, I'm going to leave, I should protect, then you're trading with emotions. As long as you're trading with emotions, you'll typically always lose and not be a good trader. Oh yeah, most definitely, Dan. Thank you for that, Jamar. And you're welcome, Grant. Congrats, Rudy. Yeah, psychology is everything. That's why I tell people, whenever you're trying to become a better trader, you can study charts all day. Put this into perspective. If charting was what made everyone rich, if charting is what made everyone successful, then technically every single person on social media should be profitable, because there's thousands of classes out there to purchase. There's thousands of YouTube videos. There's thousands of influencers. I mean, every time I open my Instagram, a Facebook, or TikTok, I see nothing but traders telling me how they're millionaires. And I'm like, I didn't realize how many millionaire traders that we had. Like, I had no idea. And it's all, let me show you how to do this. And they're all talking about a chart. They're not talking about the psychology side of it. And psychology and emotions are, people say it's a 90-10. And I'm like, it's closer to 95-5 or 98-2, because emotions and everything we do controls our outcome. Emotions in relationships, emotions with your career, emotions with friends, emotions with everything control the actions that we do. So why do we think trading is going to be any different? It's not going to be. Trading is going to be the same exact thing, if not worse. Thank you for posting that, Matt. I appreciate that. Most definitely, Roy. And that's the one thing that I wanted, when I came into the scene of the foreign exchange market, I wanted to do more of. I couldn't, it baffled me that so many traders don't work. I mean, they're living their dreams. So if they're living their dreams as a trader, they're not working. And if they're not working, that means they should be able to jump on a live stream for 30 to 45 minutes to show you the trades they're taking, to show you their setups. Because as a trader that is successful, your goal is to want to make other traders successful. Okay? So if your goal is to make others successful and to help them on their journey, the best way to do that is to get online and explain things and to stream live, to trade live. Taking a screenshot of profits or talking about, the new house you just bought or the new, vacation home you bought or the new car you just bought isn't going to help anyone be successful. It's going to market yourself. It's going to market maybe something you're trying to sell. And to me, that's not helping anyone, because the best information as far as trading goes can be found for free online. So what you're paying for is someone's knowledge of what got them there. And whatever got them there is what they need to be streaming about and talking about and showing their trades. I mean, imagine if every single top 10 or 15 trader that you follow could stream live one day a week. Not after they've taken the trade, but during the trade setup, while they're taking this trade. You would have 15 to 20 live streams a week that you could pick from, which would be huge for every single individual on social media, but it doesn't happen. So I'm going to try my best to continue doing what I'm doing and give back, and hopefully it helps people. So that's the reason I do it, Roy. Do you have time to go over why you entered the buy in US 30? What's up, Andrew? Yeah. So for me, and you guys will be able to go back and watch this because I talked about it. This was a wick fill zone on the 30-minute and the 4-hour. So we didn't break it. We tapped it. So since we went down and tapped it, I was like, this is just a small stop loss. I mean, ultimately, I'd have liked to have taken it in here, but I was answering questions, and I just put a buy stop up here because we were looking at gold. If I had taken it in here, it would have been even a smaller stop loss. But being able to take a trade for a buy after a fallout from your top swing low, this was our last swing low of 2,000 plus pips, I wouldn't want to enter another sell position down here. I would rather enter a buy position after falling 2,000 pips. Now, it could knock me out. But what you heard me say earlier is if it knocks me out, I'm going to lose $2,800. But because of my lot size here, the difference in price from here to here for my sell is $4,200. Which means if this knocks me out, I'm just going to take the $4,200 extra I made, close a partial of this one up here to make up for my loss, and it's like the loss never happened. But I like the small stop loss. I like the 4-hour rejection. It looks good on the 30-minute. If I zoom out, it's a 30-minute right here, rejected. So I'm real big on just pushing the button. And it looked like a great area to push the button. I know I said I was going to end the stream at like 10 o'clock, 10:05, and I'm still going. We'll sit here and see what happens till about 10:30. I don't have anything pressing this morning. The kids are doing some horse stuff. Lawson's doing some schoolwork, so I'm just hanging out in the studio room here, getting some trades done. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to throw them in there. And if you're just jumping on, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Because again, when I go live on Carbon's YouTube or even my YouTube, it's not something I go all over social media and announce. It's like if you see it, you see it. So have those things turned on. Thank you, Dwight. So what Dwight was talking about here was having your life, in order with emotions and psychology and everything before you get to trade. And it has a lot to do with it. If I'd have woke up this morning and, me and my wife were arguing and the kids were not listening, I was pissed off with life, chances are I would have probably had a really bad day, trading, or I may have, had a different outlook on the market. You just want to be in a good mindset when you sit down in that chair to take that trade. Everything needs to line up. If it doesn't line up, then just don't trade. Take the day off. Yes, Jason, they would. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, today's Wednesday. So today's going to be a fun mastermind class because I'm going to, I'm going to do things a little differently. We'll be doing the mastermind on the road, and it's going to be a Q&A open concept. So I'll be traveling, so I'll have my headset in, and I'm going to allow people we're going to have an open mic conversation. I've had a lot of people just say they've got some things they'd like to ask. I've put together an agenda, but I'm going to put the agenda aside for next week. So it'll be just kind of like an open Q&A for everybody. How do you analyze price to determine whether to buy? I just look at structure. I used to trade a lot with price, meaning, where's our weekly lows? Where's our weekly highs? Where are we currently trading? Are we closer to the weekly high? Or are we closer to the weekly low? Where's your depth of market, so to speak? Where is everyone selling? Where's everyone buying? Where's the pressure at? And I would kind of determine my entries based off that. And then I just got into trading, the dots, which is basically support and resistance zones, and utilizing the wick fills. And it was more candle structure at that point. Let's see. Thank you for that. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully it becomes a movement again. I say again because when I first was trading, crypto and then slowly got into Forex, it seemed like everyone was streaming live on YouTube. I mean, you had probably 8 to 10 streams you could pick from in the morning, and then you had a lot of people that were streaming on, Zoom and all over the place, Instagram, and it feels like it's slacked off. I feel like it slacked off, and everyone started just doing stuff differently. And I personally feel like people are helped more when you've got access to someone that's streaming live and answering questions. So I just need some candle structure above it. Maybe one good candle push with another 5 minute that opens up bullish, and then I'll be able to protect it. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that, brother. I don't. For me on this buy, Andrew, I would like to see a a push up to, I think in terms of even numbers, and then I look at like the 30-minute. We have this wick right here. So, 31,800 would be a nice stop. So, I mean, if we can close a 30-minute candle above it, we'd go 31,800. So I'd like, this area here. And then our next area, I'd be looking at about right here. So we'd do, for argument's sake, we'd do 31,900. Something like that. So I'd have TP1. And then this would be TP2. And I would protect, a good protection would be TP1. Protect, close partials. Can't top today. Actually, I need to make that all caps. There we go. Because that'd be what? 71. Actually, you know what? I lied on that. I would protect here. TP2, I would close half like that. But I mean, again, that's it still has to take shape, and it hasn't taken shape yet. And that way I can get up in here, protect, close half, let it run. I'm not from Nashville. I'm about 2 hours away from Nashville. Exactly, Roy. So on TradingView, I use the pitch fan actually on TradingView. I just use the regular pitch fan on there and then find candle structure and let it do its thing. I'll do a video on that. The dots are on Carbon Capital. So if you log into Carbon Capital, and I just realized the stream here isn't showing that. I'm trading obviously on Carbon Capital. I'm on their YouTube channel, but you log into Carbon Capital, click on Helpful Videos, and scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see this thing called Lifelines, and that's the lifeline. So Dan, if you start seeing your stream get blurry, it'll typically be a connection issue. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Trying to do all I can, man. I want to help out as many people in other countries as I can. So fingers crossed, everything goes as planned, brother. And sorry, I don't have my face on here today. I'm trading on a new computer setup that I made, and I've got to get another camera put in, and it hadn't arrived yet, so I don't have any visual on this setup, unfortunately. Five more minutes. We'll see what we can get here. So I love trading news events. I mean, news events is kind of like the bread and butter because you get a lot of volume and a lot of push. But they can also be dangerous for people too. If you don't have the account size or the capital to play with, it can really mess you up. Yeah, and two, the thing is, like, we look at today's news. I'm gonna leave that chart up. So you look at today's news that we had, the hit at 8:30. So that's 15:30. It's this candle right here, and let's look at it on the 5-minute. Where's our 15:30 at? Right there, yeah. I mean, shot up, hit a ton of stop losses, closed out a ton of orders, and bam, right back down. And that's how she plays. Thank you, Brett. I appreciate that, brother. Sure am. Try to get those minis on here, brother. We'll be ready to rock and roll. And I also want to clip rumors while I'm on here. You guys have seen a lot of traders mention this whole thing with, MT4 and MT5 and MetaQuotes is shutting brokers down left and right. You need to leave and join this broker or sign up here and do this. Man, these are people that jump ships every single month. If you go watch their Instagrams or watch their Facebooks, they're jumping brokers like they're dating. It's like whoever is the broker that's going to help. Here's the thing, guys. No one will typically represent a broker without something being done in return. Okay? That's how they make their money. They get their IB links. They get people to sign up. They click it. And they get paid. Or the broker even gives them a back-end deal and says, hey, look, you don't even have to give out an IB link. You just bring people over, and I'll cut you in at 5%, or I'll cut you in at 10%. There's a lot of money on the table for some of these guys, which is why you see them jump. You see them jump from broker to broker to broker. When you see that, that's a red flag. MetaQuotes is not shutting down. They're not going anywhere. They're shutting down brokers who are doing shady stuff. That's what they're doing. I've been in this trading game. This is my 16th year trading, which means I've been trading when some of these dudes were 5 and 8 years old. And I can tell you right now, I would not be trading with a broker that I personally did not trust. Period. Now, people are like, well, Andy, it's because you own Carbon Capital. I do not own Carbon Capital. Nope. Well, it's because you're affiliated. I'm not affiliated with Carbon Capital. I have a good relationship with them because I represent them on social media. And I say, hey, this is who I use. I like them. And they're like, man, you really put our name out there and you really do a lot. Would you like to be our trading analyst? I was like, I would absolutely love that. It made me feel good. So that's what I do. You don't see me jumping around from broker to broker. You don't. I used 3 brokers prior. So when you guys see that, that's a red flag. Not only is that a red flag for the broker, it's a red flag for that individual. So keep that in mind. People who want to continually jump from broker to broker to broker, they're not trying to find the best broker because they just told you the broker they used last week was the best broker. And it's not that that broker's any better because 3 weeks ago they told you another broker was even better. You're going to always hear them say it's the best, it's the best, it's the best. And then give it a month or two and they'll be with somebody else. It's because all they're doing is they're trying to jump from broker to broker to collect the next best deal to how much money they can put in their pocket. I don't need that because I'm a trader. And the money I put in my pocket comes from trading. So again, be cautious of those red flags that you see when people say stuff like that. And you'll hear people say, well, I'm trading on a regulated broker because regulated brokers are better. Just like regulated banks are better, right? It doesn't work that way. Regulated brokers typically have worse trading conditions. And fun fact, a regulated broker does not offer 1 to 500 leverage. Just as a heads up. What you'll find is regulation happens in other countries, not in the US. So when you say I'm trading on a regulated, are you trading, if you're a US citizen and you're trading on a regulated broker in another country, explain to me how that's going to help you any differently than an unregulated broker in another country. It doesn't. Because in some of these regulations, it's just a matter of paying that country some money and they give you a certificate. It means absolutely nothing. So y'all please keep that in mind. One day, One day I'm working on a book actually about just me and Hannah and our life and our journeys. Someone mentioned it the other day, and I've had a lot of mentions about it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start writing it. I've been journaling since I was 15 years old, so I've got a lot of things to pull from. Well, there's our new 30-minute candle. Oh, exactly, Andrew. You hit the nail on the head. One week, this protein shake's the best protein shake. Next week, this is the best protein shake. I mean, think, there's always, whoever people are representing is always going to be the best. Fun fact, I represented Carbon their first probably 2 or 3 weeks in the industry. Do you know why? Because their trading conditions were amazing. I wasn't getting wicked out. I wasn't getting spread. I mean, I have spread didn't take me out. The withdrawals were fast. Customer service was top notch. I could actually get someone on the phone if I needed them. Like, it changed my whole perspective of the industry. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that, brother. Enjoy your day. So, yeah, I mean, if we look at this on the 30-minute, we've got a lot of selling pressure that has come down since the news. I mean, every one of these has just pushed down, pushed down. And again, we've got this wick fill. It's a big one that we have yet to fall out of. We're still playing in the center of it. So if we close a 30-minute candle below this, that means we're going down. It's going to hit my stop loss. And I'll just close the profits I have from my sales up there, some of them, to make up for that trade. If we close a 30-minute above this, we're at least going to push up to our little bitty TP levels over here. That's all we're doing. And the thing about trading too, and hopefully this will help some of y'all, don't overanalyze it. Just know if you've got a markup, just put it out there. Give the chart your markup and be done with it. Don't worry about it. Don't stress over it. You take the trade. You push the button. It's like me. I could sit here and analyze this trade 10 different ways on why I probably could close out of this, buy. And then I could analyze it again on why I should close out of this sell. Just don't overthink it, because you will start to overcomplicate it. Just like anything in life, whether it's your health, a relationship, a marriage, friendships, if you start overanalyzing and trying to overcomplicate it, it'll always go against you. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to send out a quick message real quick. All right, go back over here. Go here and answer some questions, and then I've got to get ready to head out, guys. Let's see here. When you get to, is it true if you're a full-time trader that you have to either play golf or go to the gym? Man, so can I tell you my thoughts on it? I'm a full-time trader. I guess you would say that. I've never thought about it that way, because when I hear full-time traders, I think people just sit at a desk all day. I like to trade for fun. I mean, that's it. It's my whole, man, this theme music's going to jam on this one. And hopefully this can radiate with someone or help someone. But, you know, if you look at, if you've been following me for quite some time, which I've been on, I think, Facebook since inception of Facebook, and I've been on Instagram since inception. I did close my original Instagram account, but I got pissed off at social media and just left. But, you know, you've seen the things that I've went through of having fun, and really getting caught up in the flash and the big things that were happening. And that was due to the circle I was around. So the circle I was around, you know, late crypto days, early Forex days, was this, what I like to call flex culture type deal. And it was cool and fun. And then I looked at myself one day in the mirror and was like, Andy, what are you doing? This is kind of dumb. Like there's absolutely no reason you should be waking up every day trying to quote unquote, go crazy with your life, flex, if you will, or do these things. You've got 3 amazing kids who all they want to do is have fun with dad. So if the reason for me, you know, having the success that I've had, or having the money, whatever you want to call it, it wouldn't be to create more. It would be, how can I utilize that money to do the things that I love? So I've been blessed to have been married. I've been with the same, you know, woman now for 19 years of my life. We got 3 beautiful kids. Why would I want anything else? So why would I want to go out and create content all day? Why would I want to go out and, you know, party with my friends all day? Why would I want to get in a car and just drive around town so people could say, ooh, look at him, when I've got 3 kids who adore me and just want to hang out with dad? So things started shifting, and I said, you know what? I'm going to enjoy life. So for me, trading is something that just happens when I look at the chart and something looks good, or I want to have some fun pushing a button. I've made my money in businesses. I've made my money in investments. I've made my money, about everywhere I could for years. And that's the thing that a lot of people, you know, forget is I turned 41 this year, you know, so I'm not some young dude that was, you know, 18, 19 years old or 20 years old and only worked some odd and end jobs. I worked in corporate America for almost 15 years. During that time, I built a pretty nice 401k. I used that 401k for investments. During the time of that 15 years, I owned multiple supplement companies. I owned, a boutique gym. I did online coaching, online training. I owned a fabrication company with my father. Like, there was a lot of things that I did during that time. And that's what kind of built up the success for my life. You know, so now trading is just an added piece. It's an extension of my life. I don't I don't wake up saying I need to make X amount of dollars. I don't wake up saying I need to, make X amount this year. I just wake up, I jump on the charts, I have fun, I let it be. I close the charts and I go do my stuff. So like today, as soon as I close this, which I've got to close it pretty soon, I've got to, I'm changing clothes and I've got a massage therapist that I work with, and I'm going to go see her for, an hour and a half, be done with that. The kids are doing their horse stuff. Like I said, Lawson's finishing up his schoolwork. So by the time I get back, horse stuff is done, schoolwork's done, and then our kid stuff starts for the day. And then after that, I've got some own work that I do, meaning, I like to call it the to-do list that me and Hannah create. So I go in and check all of our accounts. I got to make sure that all the bills are paid. I make sure that, anything that we've set up for friends' birthday parties or weddings or charities or anything that we're doing is on par. Did we update the calendars? And then go outside, play with the kids for a bit, ride bikes, have fun, then hit the road for our road trip. And that's it. I just want to enjoy life to its fullest. And I feel like, in the industry that we're in, when people become full-time traders, they're working every day. And when it's like, well, yeah, they're not working, they're living their dream. To me, creating content is not living your dream. To me, having to stage content is not living your dream. So I tell people, if you're truly living your dream, you're not creating content, you're recording, you're documenting your life. So for me, I just want to enjoy time with my kids and family. That is my life right now. I have no, goals to become this full-time trader that sits at a desk for 8 to 10 hours a day and does nothing but just click a button. So, things change. I guess as you get older, as you are reminded of the importance that life is short and it can be taken from you at any given moment. And I don't want my kids to feel like I've left this earth, with something that's, lackluster, so to speak. Like, oh, well, yeah, he was a good dad. He gave us a lot of stuff, but we never saw him. He was always gone. He always did stuff with friends. And, I had this talk with a good buddy of mine last week where he was like, I've not seen my family, in almost 3 years. And it kind of baffled me. And I was like, whoa, you've not seen your family in 3 years? He's like, yeah, man, I've just been working. I've been traveling. I went, have you been partying with friends? Yeah. Have you been going on trips with friends? Yeah. Have you been going out on the weekends? Have you been going out and playing golf? Have you been creating content? Yeah. So all that stuff was more important than seeing your parents. And we kind of had like this aha moment on the phone. He was like, brother, thanks for saying that. Because I was like, yeah, if you're giving your friends more time than you're giving your wife or more time than you're giving your kids, then it means they're more important. So like that time should be minimal. If I'm giving a friend 5 hours of my day, I should be giving my kids minimal 5 to 10 hours of that day, because that's what matters. I mean, those are my kids. The friend's the friend. I high five them and I love them to death, but nothing's going to be greater than my wife and kids. So, that's kind of how I think I look at it. And it's allowed me to have this, just simplistic mindset of, I just want to live. That's it. So, boy, that one drug out for a little bit. All right, let me see what we got here. Go read this question. Make sure. So this is just a single song. I like it. It's very calm. I'll write it in the chat. It is called In My Dreams by EMIUS NJ. Let's see. How often do you look at a possible positional pullbacks? I mean, like you could, again, being in this gray box, I mean, we could get a wick that just flies down and knocks me out, which would suck. But it could happen. So what we'll do is let's look at this 30-minute. We don't have a dot. We have a dot on the 5-minute. So again, you could also do a dot to dot. And if you're not in trades, just do your break. And there's your break zone. So now you're just waiting for it to break that dot. I took this trade off of a wick fill rejection, hoping that we wouldn't close the candle below that wick fill zone. But if you're not in a position, then you just look for that break zone outside of that. That would be, well, what's not going to be like? It's going to be down here like this. because we're still in that zone, but it's not looking pretty at all. All right, let's see here. Yes, I only enter on my dot setups. TradingView project is going. Ran into just a little bit of hiccups, but it's going. We're closer every single day. Yep, wick fills off of rejection zones and then connecting the dots looking for the trend line break. No, once I set my stop loss, I stay with my stop loss. I don't. You'll see people that'll move their stop losses around and then be like, let's add another 15 pips. Let's add a little bit of buffer for this. And it's like, man, once I set it, I set it. Because even if it, like even right now, if it wicks me out, it wicks me out. You know, I took the trade based on a 5-minute candle closure, which again, this goes back to what we talked about earlier. 5-minute or 30-minute. If we were playing the 30-minute candle closure, look, the 30-minute never closed. So we wouldn't even, I wouldn't even set a buy stop up here. We'd have just waited on 30 minutes to go by. But taking that 5-minute, I set this buy stop. The 5-minute went up, closed the new candle up here, and then that candle shot down. So it's part of it. Matt, I don't have an estimated time for the mastermind today. I would say, though, it will be closer to 5:30. It will be later today than normal, but I'll give everyone a heads up in the Discord. And Roy, thank you so much. All right, guys, I have to unfortunately close this stream because my appointment will be coming up here shortly, and I don't want to have her waiting on me. So this is where we're at. I'll give a follow-up to this. So before I leave today, I'll give a follow-up to this trade and how I managed it and what happened. And I'll just do that here on Carbon Capital's page. Keep in mind this gold setup that we have right here. If you want, I'll leave this up for a second so you can screenshot it. Count to 5. 1, 2, 3. All right, there we go. And yep, that's where we're at. Man, dang it. I was really hoping it would reject the gray box. But that's part of it. Let's see here. Make sure I missed anything. Have a great day, brother. Thank you for all your... Man, thank you guys for being here. It was fun. Didn't get much on trades. It was pretty... We got on the call right here. We got to push up and then right back down. So that's where we're at. Fun times, though. And like I said, I'll give an update this evening. I probably won't give an update on the YouTube channel because then I'd have to start a new stream and go over all that again. So you guys just be sure to follow my Instagram account. I'll give the update there as well because I won't be near a computer to do a live stream when I do it. So it is at Real Andy Peters. And I'll go ahead and give you guys an update on my Instagram page. If it knocks me out, I'll show you guys how I close the trade to make up for the lost trade and do all that great stuff. So appreciate you all. Y'all have an amazing day.